Well, today we're going to be looking at repainting a Ghostbusters figure, and this is a new figure, series of 12-inch figures that B&M have got in at the moment. So you can see it's Peter Venkman, and it's got a classic Ghostbusters 1984. I'm presuming if they do other figures from the other films, they'll change that. So you got some quite nice packaging, and then we've got a likeness of Bill Murray. It's a little bit soft. I'm hoping a decent paint job will bring out some of the detail. So look at the box. So you've got Ray, Egon and Ernie Hudson. I picked up Venkman because I wanted to see if it would paint okay. This looks to be an incredibly cheap figure, because if we look on the back of the box, the Proton Pack is a sticker on his back. So I might at a later date build a plastic Proton Pack to go on back, and then you get a write-up. Peter Venkman is the fast-talking spokesman for the Ghostbusters. Is he? So let's get him out of the box and have a look at him. Okay, so we can see the figure outside the box. It's very soft likeness. You can sort of see it's Bill Murray. Very cheap figure. So you've got ball joints on the arms, no elbows, no waist. You've got ball joints on the hips. That's your lot. Everything else is just moulded on, and the Proton Pack sticker is awful. I'm going to have to do something with that. He does lay down quite well. You also get a, what do they call it, a wand, a Proton Pack Gun, which fits in his hand, but no, fits in like that, no hose to go from it. There is a sort of this built on, I don't know whether that's meant to be the hose, which is a bit weird, so I might put a hose on it. I'm not going to repaint the body as such. I might do some detailing, do some washes, but we're mainly going to look at head. So going to use hot water, boiling water, see if we can get the head off, and then have a crack at it. Okay, so we've got the head off. It was actually soft rubber when it's hot. When it's cold, it's really solid. It needs a bit of tidying up. Like I say, the body I'm just going to touch up a bit, do a bit of detail work, paint the flesh. At some point I would like to do that, but not today. So I'm going to put the body down there. Let's see if we can get a bit more light on. Ooh, that's not good. Let's see if that warms up. That's pulsing like mad, isn't it? Yeah, that's not good. Don't think we'll bother with that light. We'll do what we can do with it. Okay, so first base coat all over the face with Reikland Flesh Shade. Acadian Flesh Tone, I should say. Base, you can't really see it on there. If you get a new pot, you can actually see the Acadian Flesh Tones mixed with a little bit of Vallejo Light Flesh, just to thin it down and lighten it a tad. First off, let me get my knife. I'm just going to ream out some of this rubber to make it going on a bit easier than when it came off, because we can't really heat it up once it's been painted. There you go, that should do it. And then also I'm going to tidy up this weird, what you could do is soak the head to get the flesh colour off of it, because it's brown plastic, but it doesn't appear to be too heavy, to be honest. It's not horrendous. So just going to basically give him a going over. Like that. So I'm going to give him a couple of coats, so it's nice and solid, and then we come back and start shading. Okay, so I've done a couple of coats on the head, Now what we're going to do is use some Repainting flesh shade and just run that into the joints. On the body, all I've done is painted the webbing in olive drab. It's going to need another coat. Painted his elbow patches, even in my shirt, painted the neck, so that will need a couple of coats each, and then we're going to shade a bit of that. Hope to. It might not work because it's plastic, doesn't like being shaded on. Let's pop him down there. Okay, let's do this one. So all we're going to do is run the flesh shade, there's a bit of tissue on his neck, run the flesh shade into all the crevices just to give it a bit of contrast. Okay, so we're going to carry on with that and we'll come back and start shading it in. Okay, so that's all dried. So what we're going to do now is use a slightly lightened version of the flesh tone, and we're going to dry brush it, so really dry brush. Paper towel to wipe it on. You wipe most of the paint off so that there's hardly anything left. Move your paint so you don't knock it over, and then all we're doing is blend in and if you blend too much and it disappears completely, you can always do this again. What you're aiming for is to keep a sort of a hint of the undershade to shade the face. So I'm going to do that all over, and then we can come back and paint the eyes. Okay, so you can see it's blended in. Makes a nice skin tone. So what we're going to do now is use a little bit of red, really tiny bit of Mephiston red, just to put a bit of colour into the cheeks. But this is, yeah, the tiniest amount. Super dry brush, and then all we're doing is just adding a bit of colour, and you want it a bit mottled so that it looks like skin tone. So obviously if you look at your skin, it's not a solid colour. It just gives it a bit of warmth. You don't want too much because it will make the face look a bit like it's wearing makeup or rouge. So we're going to paint the eyeballs in white, assuming I've actually got any. Comics white, that's a new pot. Have I got any more? Nope. That's going to be a new pot. Ooh, it's thick. I think this was a pot that was on one of those magazines, you know, the Partworks. So God knows how old it is. Ooh. It's claggy. Look at that. Claggy. It'll do. It'll work. I hope. It's also comics white. It's not very white. It's more of a weirdy grey. Okay, so we're just going to paint in the eyeballs. It's a bit I hate. Not really very good at it. Okay, I'm going to do the other one, and then I'm going to mix a bit of the flesh tone with some red, just a tiny bit, to do the lips. And we'll let that dry, come back and paint the eyeballs. Okay, so all I've done is painted his lips. Oh, focus. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is paint his eyeballs. So he's got sort of blue-grey eyes, so I'm going to use some Bortlop blue, which is sort of a very light bluey grey type colour. This is where I absolutely hate, because this is, if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong here. Not too bad, so I'm going to do the other one, tidy that one up, and come back, do the pupils and the lines. Okay, so what we're going to do is use a bit of black just to paint in a pupil and the line above the eye. There we go. So I'm going to run some flesh shade into the eye just to tone the white down, and then we're going to start painting the hair and the eyebrows, and we're going to use a brown for that. So we're going to use somewhere. We've got a dark brown. Nope, that's not it. Somewhere I've got a dark brown. Oh, there it is at the back. So I'm going to use Rhinox hide, and then all we're going to do is do a base coat all over, and it looks a bit dark, but we're going to lighten it with some dry brushing afterwards, so we'll do that. Okay, so the hair is dry and he's got his eyebrows, so what we're going to do is do some dry brushing on the hair with Mornfang, probably a bit of Blood Reaver flesh, and possibly a little bit of white, but let's see what the Mornfang looks like. So just doing a bit of dry brushing. Too many paint pots on the go at any one point. Okay, you see that's bringing out the detail. So do that all over, and then we'll just about be ready to see the finished figure. Okay, so we finished the figure. So I've added some detail to his costume, some dry brushing, some wash into the seams, painted his webbing in olive drab, so it's a bit more. Going to focus. Where's it going to focus? Who knows? Painted his webbing, painted his elbow pads, dry brushed his gloves, and then we got to the face. So I'd say it's a bit of a cartoony likeness to him, but it's got something. I think it's not bad. I think it looks better than it did. It's quite a nice likeness. The figures are not great, to be honest. I need to do something with the backpack. It does look better with the edging painted on, but look how thin it is. It's very strange, very cheap that they've done that. I need to find a tube to put on his wand. I did some dry brushing on that, but I think this was about 12 quid for the figure. I think he paints up quite nicely. I don't know whether I'm going to get the rest of them. I might get see if they've got a couple more. Trouble is the bodies are all exactly the same. It's the same moulding, everything. So you're paying for his different heads. But yeah, I think he come out okay. Not a huge amount of detail on it. It's quite a soft sculpt, but I'm happy with it. So if you want to see the other Ghostbusters, let me know, and I'll see if I can track them down. I've got some other Ghostbusters merchandise. I can do a little Ghostbusters video if you want to see one. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you can. It does help the channel, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks then. Bye.